I called, I waited. You didn't answer. At that moment, all the words I had kept inside crumbled into silence. It wasn't just a missed call, it was the chance to tell you what I never had the courage to say. What got stuck in that call was more than words. It was everything I feel, everything I wanted you to know, and now, do you still want to hear what my heart has kept for so long? Because I never wanted things to be like this between us. You know, every day since that moment, I found myself thinking, what if you had answered? Would our lives be different now? Would you understand everything I couldn't say looking into your eyes? But the truth is, I need to tell you this, even if you choose not to listen. I spent so much time pretending everything was fine, carrying a weight that only increased. But the day came when I couldn't do it anymore. It was you I wanted to hear on the other end of the line. It was with you that I needed to talk, because no one else can fill the void you left. I'm not going to pretend it's easy to write this now, it's not. Each word is like reliving everything that brought me here. I remember the conversations we had, the moments we shared, and how, even on bad days, you always made everything seem better. And when you distanced yourself, I thought I could handle it, but I couldn't. In that call, I wanted to apologize, not just for the times I was wrong, but also for the times I stayed silent, for the times I should have fought harder, for the times I should have shown more how much you mean to me. And I also wanted to thank you for everything, for teaching me what it really means to love, for showing me how to trust someone with closed eyes. And above all, I wanted to tell you that I still think about us, not as a distant memory, but as something that still pulses within me, that still is a part of my present. I know it may seem too late, but I needed you to know this, because holding these words in only hurts me more. I still think of you every day, in every detail we built, and that stayed in the past. But that insists on accompanying me as if it were part of now. I don't know how it is for you, but for me it feels like time froze in certain moments. I can't move forward without remembering the sound of your laughter, the way you furrowed your brow when something didn't make sense, or your words that always challenged me to be better, even when I didn't want to admit it. During that call, what I wanted the most was to break the silence, to say everything that was stuck in my throat. So many times I rehearsed what to say, but I always ended up giving up because I lacked courage. How to explain what's going on inside here, how to make you understand that, even after everything, you are still the first person that comes to my mind when something happens, good or bad. It's with you that I wanted to share, whether it's happiness or doubts. But does it make a difference now? This question consumes me. Maybe you have already moved on, maybe you don't think about me anymore, and I am just a distant memory. Even so, I needed to tell you I can't carry this alone anymore. So here I am trying to organize words that can barely keep up with what I feel. You know, during that call I was going to ask you if you missed me. Not out of neediness or ego, but because I missed you. Every day without you, I realize more what I lost. It's not about the big things, but about the details. About how your presence made the world seem less heavy. How you made me feel that everything was possible. And me? Did I make you feel the same way? Was I at some point your refuge as you were mine? I was also going to tell you that I am very sorry for everything I did and everything I didn't do. I made so many mistakes, but the biggest one was not telling you earlier how important you were, how important you still are. Because even though life has separated us, the feeling hasn't gone away. It just stayed hidden, waiting for the right moment to come to light. And honestly, I don't think that moment ever arrives on its own. We need to gather courage and make it happen, even if it scares us. I think what hurts me the most is knowing that time doesn't come back. No matter how much I want it, I can't change the past. But I can tell you now with all sincerity that I wish I had done things differently. I wish I had given you more time, more attention, more care. I wish I had shown you that, despite all my flaws, I always loved you. And I still do. I don't know if that word still holds the same weight for you, but for me it has never lost its strength. Not for a second. So yes, I wanted to tell you all of this during that call. I wanted to ask you to listen to me, to give me a chance to explain, to open up like I never did before. Because deep down, what I wanted most was to know if there was still space for us. If there was still a part of you that held on to a bit of everything we built together. Now I know that words can't erase what happened. I know that apologies, no matter how sincere, can't change what was broken. But I believe with all my heart that some things are worth trying to fix, and you are one of them. I don't know if I'm being selfish by telling you this, but I needed to get it all out. Even if the answer is silence, at least I will know that I tried. But what about you? Do you still think of me? Because for me, you were never just a memory. You are a living part of who I am, of everything I have become. Maybe I never thanked you enough for that, but today, looking back, I see that you were one of the best things that ever happened in my life. No matter what the future holds, that will never change. I know it's a lot to ask, but if there's still anything at all that connects our paths, I am here. I don't know how you feel. I don't know if this time apart made you forget, or if it made you want even more distance. But if by any chance any of these words make sense to you, I hope you tell me, even if it's to tell me that there's nothing left. Because despite everything, I still believe in us. I believe that if we lay all our cards on the table, maybe we can find a way to start over. It doesn't have to be like before. Maybe it never will be. But it can be something new, something we build with more truth, more care, more willingness. I know it's a lot to digest at once. So it might even be unfair to throw all of this at you without knowing if you're ready to hear it. But honestly, there's no other way to do this. I spent so much time keeping quiet, holding back, trying to pretend everything was okay when in fact, what I wanted most was to talk to you. It's like the words were stuck all month waiting for the right moment to explode. And now this moment is me creating it. I just didn't want that missed call to be the end, because to me it was never just a number in the call history. It was a reflection of everything I let slip, of all the opportunities I lost by hesitating, by being afraid, by overthinking. And deep down, I think my biggest fear is still losing you for good, as if what remains between us is so fragile it might disappear with the slightest breath of indifference. And speaking of fear, let me tell you something I've never told you before. How much the idea of depending so much on someone like I depended on you scared me. Not because of weakness, but because you were my safe haven, my favorite place in the world. And when everything fell apart, I lost my footing. I didn't know how to cope, how to move forward, because you were the person I turned to when things got tough. How to go on without that. And it's funny because even with all this, we have a habit of getting used to absence. Not because it's easy, but because somehow it seems like it's the only thing left. But I'll be honest with you, I never really got used to it. There wasn't a single day that I didn't look at my phone, wishing it would ring with your name on the screen. There wasn't a night that I didn't wonder how you were doing, if you felt the same emptiness as I did, or if you had already found something, or someone, to fill you again. And maybe that's exactly what drives me now. This need to know, to not let everything die without first trying, without first showing you that, despite all my faults, there is still something in me that belongs to you. I know it may seem selfish, but it's not about asking for something in return. It's about showing you that amidst so many doubts and uncertainties, what I feel for you has always been the one clear thing. It has always been the only truth that kept me steady, even when it seemed like everything was lost. In that call, I didn't want to burden you. I just wanted to hear your voice, to feel that you were still there, that I still had a chance, no matter how small, to fix what was broken. And now, writing this, I realize that maybe there will never be enough words to express everything that got stuck inside me. But even so, I need to try. I need you to know. Because in the end, what hurts the most isn't the distance or the silence, but the regret. I regret not holding you tighter, not showing you more clearly how much you meant to me. I regret letting pride or fear speak louder than the love I feel for you. And that's why I'm here, shedding all shame and all fears, putting my heart in your hands, even without knowing what you will do with it. But you know what? Even if you don't feel the same anymore, even if the answer is no, even if it changes nothing between us, I needed to do this. I needed to tell you, because I can't live carrying this weight, this doubt, this emptiness anymore. Because deep down I always knew that you were the person I could never forget, even if the world told me to move on. And as much as it hurts, it also makes me realize how important you were, and still are, to me. So if you got this far, if you read all of this, I only have one more thing to ask of you. Be honest with me. Don't spare me out of pity. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Just tell me the truth, whatever it may be. I accept it. I need to accept it. But please don't leave this unanswered. Because to me, you were always the answer to so many questions I didn't even know I had. Now, the decision is yours. I've done my part. I've put everything on the table. No masks, no evasions. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not. But I just needed you to know. Now that I have said all this, I feel as if a weight has been lifted off me, but at the same time an even greater emptiness takes over. Not because I don't know what you will respond, but because I realize that all this time I have been waiting too much for a moment that might never happen. I clung to hope as if it were the only thing keeping me alive, but now I realize that you might have moved on while I was stuck here, trapped in this cycle of memories and regrets. I wonder if you still remember the things we experienced, if you ever thought of coming back, or if, when you heard my name or saw something that reminded you of me, you felt at least a little of what I feel now. Because for me, each memory is a mixture of happiness and pain. It's good to remember, but it hurts to know that all of that is in the past. And honestly, I don't know what I expect to hear from you. Maybe I'm afraid of an answer. Maybe silence is easier to deal with because it leaves space for doubt, and doubt, as cruel as it may be, still keeps hope alive. But I don't want to live like this anymore. I need a full stop, whether to end it or to start over. I know it wasn't all perfect. I know I made wrong choices, that I acted impulsively when I should have been more patient, or was distant when you needed me by your side the most. But I also know that everything I did, as twisted as it may have been, came from a genuine place. I never wanted to hurt you. And if I did, it was more because I didn't know how to deal with what I felt than from a lack of love. Because the love was always there, even when it seemed like it wasn't. And it's strange how sometimes we only realize the value of things when we lose them. I always knew you were special, but I don't think I understood just how much until you were no longer here. And that's something I will never be able to completely forgive myself for. Because deep down, I know it could have been different. It could have been better. I don't know if you miss me. I don't know if sometimes you find yourself looking at your phone, wondering if you should send me a message. I don't know if when things get tough you feel like confiding in me, like you used to. But if you do, I want you to know that I'm still here, that I never stopped being here. And at the same time, I know I can't ask anything of you. I can't expect you to carry the weight of my longing or my guilt. That's something I have to deal with regardless of you. Because at the end of the day, you don't owe me anything. And perhaps that's exactly what hurts the most. Knowing that despite all that I feel, there are no guarantees. That even after all I've said, you can simply choose not to respond. And I have to accept that. But if there's something inside you that still feels anything, even if it's small, I ask you, don't ignore it. Because I believe that if there's still something, anything between us, it's worth trying. It's worth fighting for. And if you believe that too, then I am willing to do whatever it takes to make it work. And if that's not the case, that's okay. I won't blame you. I just want you to be happy, even if it's not with me. Because above all, what I feel for you is something greater than ego or pride. It's something that makes me want your well-being no matter where or with whom you are. So that's it. I don't know how to end this without sounding desperate or pathetic, but I guess in the end it doesn't matter. What matters is that you know I still care, that I still think about you, that I still believe what we had was special, and that, even if we can never get it back, I will always cherish everything we experienced. Now the ball is in your court. Whatever your decision, I will respect it. I just hope that somehow these words touch you the way you always touched my heart. So, now that you know everything, I just have to ask, how do you feel? I opened my heart because I needed you to understand how much this still means to me. I don't know what your response will be, but in any case, I thank you for reading this far. Thank you for at least giving me the chance to say what has been bottled up for so long. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been through something similar? Have you ever left something important unanswered and regretted it later? Or maybe, like me, are you still hoping for a second chance? If this message touched you in any way, please leave a like, comment below about what you thought or felt while reading this, and subscribe to continue following stories like this. Your support makes all the difference, and I would love to know how this reflection resonated with you. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. Thank you for being here.